Tapos I'm going to share my PowerPoint. Okay. So I decided to start with this problem. Actually, first order pa to. Ano? So in this particular problem, you are asked to determine the value of the rate constant, and you are also asked to determine to confirm that this is a first order kinetics. So in confirming that this is a first order reaction, you need to show that the ln of the partial pressure, versus time should be linear, or the r, yung r value niya should be approximately equal to 1. No? Ano nga ba yung dali lang. Ano ko lang yan. If you still remember from the last meeting, di ba, sabi ko sa inyo, you need to remember that for a first order reaction, the basic equation is, halimbawa, A is equals to A sub O e to the negative KT. Tandaan niyo pa to? So A sub O is the initial concentration, A is the final concentration, tapos K is the rate constant, T is the time. No? So if you get the if you how do you say that? If you get the ln of both sides of the equation, you will have ln of A tapos ln of A sub O tapos minus KT. Diba? So this is a linear equation, ano? Kasi ito yung magiging y niya, yung ln of A. Tapos itong ln of A sub O, ito yung y-intercept. Imagine nyo? Tapos plus mx. So ang x ay yung time, t. Tapos yung rate constant will be equal to this slope. No? Yan lang yan. Okay. Do you have any questions so far with this equation for the first order reaction? Okay, so let's read the problem. The rate of decomposition of azomethane C2H6N2 is studied by monitoring the partial pressure of the reactant as a function of time. So we have here CH3 and NCH3. So this is azomethane, no? Giving you nitrogen gas and C2H6. So C2H6 is ethane, no? Ethane. So the data obtained at 300 degrees Celsius are shown in the following table. So meron tayong time versus partial pressure. Okay? So the question is, are these values consistent with first order kinetic? If so, determine the rate constant. So originally yung nasa equation natin ay concentrations, ano? A is concentration. So if you're going to assume na the system follows the ideal gas equation, we can derive a form of this equation using the pressure, ano? Kasi pag gases naman talaga, mas madaling i-monitor ang pressure kaysa concentration. So assuming na nagpa-follow siya ng ideal gas equation, di ba? PB is equals to nRT. So kung tandaan nyo pa, ang ginagawa lang dito para maging pressure yung concentration, yung N over B lang, ano? So just transpose B to the other side of the equation. So you will have N over B. Tapos yung RT sa kabila, P divided by RT. Kung halimbawa ang unit ng N ay mole, halimbawa yung R natin yung 0.08206, ano? So itong N magiging mole to, tapos yung B, yung volume magiging liter. So yung mole per liter, di ba this is the same as, what is this? Ano yung mole per liter? Gio. This is the same as?
Molarity po.
This is molarity, di ba? Tandaan nyo? Mole per liter is molarity. So, di ba, that's your A. That's your A sub O. That's your concentration. Ano? So, we can substitute dito sa A yung P over RT, no? Sa A sub O, yung P over RT. Ganun lang naman, ano? So, para magiging ganito lang din naman yung equation, ano? Sub O. So we're going to plot time. Ito yung x natin. Ito yung magiging x, ano? Ito yung magiging x. Tapos yung ln ng pressure. Yung ln ng pressure, we'll be able to get the K, ano? Ito yung, ang magiging Y natin is ln dito, ano? Do you have any question? So ito yung magiging Y. Pag nag-linear regression tayo. O kaya naman, siguro it would be better dito, kung dito tayo mag-i-start. Ano? So dito pa lang, para mas madali yung mathematics niya. So dito pa lang, gawin nyo na siyang P over RT. Tapos yung A sub O, P sub O over RT. So E to the negative KT. So dito pa lang, you can cancel out RT. So pag inano nyo, pag in-LN nyo tong equation na to, it will resolve to this equation. Ano? Wala na yung RT. Kung medyo nalilito kayo, bakit naging ganito na lang kasimple yung solution. Do you agree? Dito nyo simulan. Dito nyo simulan yung ano, yung derivation. Do you have any question, clarification at this point? So mas malinaw pala kung dito natin sinimulan yung derivation ng ating equation for this problem. Pero syempre, yung ginawa kong derivation, yung una kong ginawa, that's the general equation. Kung concentration yung given na na variables, time versus concentration. Pero kung time versus pressure, mas maganda kung dito niya i-substitute yung P over RT. So magiging ln of P is equals to ln of P sub O minus K times T. Do you have any question? So all you need to do now is use your calculator. Marunong naman kayong mag-linear reg sa calculator. So mode number sa class widths, mode number 6 lang yan, ano? On nyo lang, tapos mode 6, and then number 2, yung y is equals to a plus bx, ano? Pasok nyo na lang. So una nyo ipapasok sa unang column is the time s, time in seconds yung x, so 0, 100, etc. Pasok nyo lang, ano? Hanggang 300. Tapos sa sa susunod na column sa y, pasok niyo yung ln 284, ln 220, and so on, ln 193. Do you have any question? You might be asking, hindi ko alam kung naabot niyo to sa sa physical chemistry. Di ba pag sinabi pag ine-ln dapat unitless. So ang ginagawa ni Atkins para maging unitless, meron siyang standard, meron tinatawag na standard pressure, ano? So, dinidivide niya ng standard pressure. Atkins kasi parang kinu-convert niya sa atmosphere tapos dinidivide niya ng 1 atmosphere. So, ganun pa rin yung numerical value. Ano? Para maging unitless. Pero kahit naman hindi nyo gawin yun, you will get the same R tapos the same K. Kasi basically 1 din lang naman yun. Concerns? Questions? Okay, so try to input this in your calculator. 0, 100, 150. So mahalagang marunong kayo mag-linear reg. 250, 300. Tapos yung LN, ano? LN, 284. LN, 220. LN, 193. LN, 170. LN, 150. LN, 132. Okay, tapos AC, tapos operation, and then number 3, regression calculation. Ano? Ano ba? Ilan ang R? Ilan ang nakuha yung R? Jomari, ilan nakuha mong R? Your calculator? Alin ang value ng R? Kumusta? Kumusta kayo? Nakakaantok ba? Sino may value na ng R? Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel Tixon. Alin ako ang value ng R? Yep, I am also getting that. Ano? Si Gio pala yun. Negative 0.99985. I'm also getting that value. 99985. Apat na 9, ano? Apat na 9 tapos 85. So that's approximately equal to 1 or negative 1, ano? So negative slope kasi kaya negative 1. Kasi di ba yung acetone, yung concentration niya bumababa as time passes by, ano? Kaya negative 1. So that shows na that confirms na yung ating data ay data ng first order reaction. Kasi linear yung ln ng pressure against time. Di ba? So it's consistent with first order kinetics. Any question? Kasi if the R value is malapit sa negative 1 or sa 1, it means na linear yung data natin, So it's consistent with the first order kinetics. Ganun talaga yan. It's trial and error. Pag naghahanap kayo ng order tapos may data kayo, trial and error talaga yan. So subukan nyo muna sa first order. Karamihan kasi sa first order. Tapos subukan nyo sa second order, tapos subukan nyo sa zero order. Mamaya, we will discuss or probably sa PChem, na-discuss nyo na kung paano yung equation ng, or sa GenChem, kung paano yung equation ng zero order at saka ng second order. So trial and error yan. Siyempre, first order pa lang yung na-discuss natin. Kaya, most probably, this is a first order reaction. Okay, so anong rate constant? Ang rate constant ay yung slope. So, ano ang slope ng line? Christiana. Miss Adviento, ano ang ating slope? Ano ang B or yung M? Anong M? Yung B yan, if you're using class Wiz, that's your B. Can you read? Sino pumindot sa calculator? Aside from Gio. Can you volunteer for the slope value? Yun. Sino yun? Madami, Si Paolo. Very good. That's negative 2.55 times 10 to the minus 3. Yep, very good. That's correct, Paolo. John Rex Tadena, very good. Emmanuel, very good. Negative 2.55 times 10 to the minus 3. Mika, very good. Negative 2.55 times 10 to the minus 3. And then, if you're going to look at our equation, yung dinerive natin, the slope, no? The slope is equal to negative k. It's equal to negative k. It's just the negative of the rate constant, ano? Of the constant of the reaction, negative k. So, if this is equal to negative 2.55 times 10 to the minus 3, this is per second, ano? Kasi yung time natin second, ano? So, therefore, ang k natin is, kasi negative, so k is positive 2.55 times 10 to the minus 3 per second. Do you have any question regarding this value? Very good. Okay, so that's it. Yun lang naman yung ganyan lang naman yung mga problems sa first order, ano? So with this, we'll proceed with with the second order, no? So ito yung sagot, di ba? 2.55 times 10 to the minus 3. And then this is the slope, no? So the rate constant is equal to the negative slope. The negative of the slope. Here. Okay, is 2.55 times 10 to the minus 3 per second. Questions, clarifications? I hope okay lang. I hope makakasunod, ano? It's quite beautiful, ano? Saan ba yun? Sa lab, meron kami equipment dito sa sa LB. May equipment kaming ginagamit sa LB, tapos nagme-measure siya ng concentration, ano? Tapos automatic pina-plot niya na yung zero order equation. Naka-ano na siya sa PC. Pina-plot niya yung zero order, first order, tapos second order. Tapos makikita mo kung ano yung order ng reaction. And it's quite nagli-linear talaga siya pag first order, yung reaction. Ganito kaming equipment. So kumbaga, what I'm trying to say is you can observe this in the laboratory. No? It's quite nice. Nakapag-analytical chem pa kayo bago nag-pandemic? Laboratory? Nakagawa pa kayo ng mga experiments sa analytical chem? Abutan nyo pa? Tapos nyo pa? Very good. Ako, actually dun ko na-appreciate yung chemistry. Nung high school kasi kami, hindi naman kasi ganun kaganda yung lab namin. So, doon ko talaga nakita na totoo nga pala yung science. Kasi di ba, isang drop mo, napaka-sensitive niya, no? Isang drop mo, nag-over titrate ka na pag sumobra ka ng isa. Tapos pag kinalculate niyo yung mga concentration, eksaktong-eksakto, kung ano yung nakalagay doon kay sir na concentration, yun talaga yun, basta maigat ka lang talaga. Di ba? I really appreciate analytical chemistry. Kumbaga, doon ko lang talaga, kasi nung high school kami, medyo dinodoktor lang namin yung data. Alam mo kasi kung ano yung theoretical eh. So, na-heal ko siya para lumabas yung Pero talaga nung analytical chem lab, doon ko lang talaga nakita na, totoo pala talaga yung no? Kaya nagkaroon ako ng tiwala sa science. Ayun, di ba? So, kasi yan di ba? Pag meron kayong ganung background, kamukha nyo, no? Oo. Naabutan niyo yung nakapag-lab naman kayo, di ba? Pag may ganyan kayong background na nakita niyo na totoo naman talaga yung mga pinagsasabi ng science, at least sa analytical chem, hindi kayo mag-hesitate na na magpabakuna kasi alam niyo naman talaga na pinanggagalingan naman lahat ng to. May basis naman talaga lahat. Ganun. Kumbaga may tiwala talaga kayo sa siyensya. Kakaroon kayo ng tiwala sa siyensya pag nakapag-analytical chem lab kayo. Okay? Pag nag-work na kayo sa industry, makikita nyo, no? Yan talaga yung bread and butter ng industry. Kaya mahal yung mga produkto. It's because of the testing na ginagawa sa sa analytical chem. Di ba? Pag ina-assay, nakita nyo talaga pag ina-assay, 99.9% yung mga chemicals, nakikita nyo talaga yan. kumbaga, what I'm trying to say is may ano talaga, may value, no? Yung chemistry, ano? Yung ginagawa natin sa chemistry. Aside from nagwo-work talaga siya, kasi nakikita niyo naman yun pag may sakit kayo, ano, pag halimbawa masakit yung ulo niyo, kaya sinisipon kayo, tapos inom lang kayo ng Neosep, biglang mawawala yung sipon niyo. Di ba? Masakit yung ulo niyo, inom lang kayo ng ibuprofen, di ba? Biglang mawawala yung sakit ng ulo niyo. So aside from qualitative ano, nakukonfirm nyo pa yon sa laboratory ng ganun siya ka-accurate sa analytical chem lab. Nakuha na natin yung half-life. Pino-forward ko na sa, this is the second order reaction. So, ito. Diba, when you have a second order reaction, yung concentration is squared. Rate is equals to rate constant times the concentration times the squared of the concentration of A. Okay? So, ano yung unit ng K? Anong unit ng K pag second order? Second order na tayo, Marami na naman tayong na-solve sa first order. Halos lahat na ng type ng first order siguro na-solve na natin. So kung meron ng ibang type, probably as long as tama naman yung given, kompleto naman yung given, mas solve niyo yun. So anong unit ng K sa second order? So ganun ulit yung gawin nyo. Using this equation, so ang unit ng K is rate divided by A squared. So ang rate palaging, ano palagi ang unit ng rate? Si Ryan, ano palagi ang unit ng rate? Ryan Reyes. Ang rate ay, yun palagi ng rate of reaction, yes, molarity per second. Very good. Palaging molarity per second. Daan nyo yan, nakakalimutan yan. So, para madali nyo lang ma-determine yung unit ng rate constant kahit anong order. Okay? Didivide nyo lamang yan. Ang concentration, palaging paula. Is Borlongan. Anong unit ng concentration? Palaging molarity. Paula. So, pag sinolve nyo to, pag second order, ang unit ng K ay per molarity per second. M minus 1, S minus 1. Or 1 over M, 1 over S. Question. Okay. Yan, napaka-basic niyan. Madali lang, I hope na dadadalian kayo dyan, Pero usually, tinatanong yan sa board exam. Pag second order ng unit ng K, yung iba kasi minememorize nila, So try to remember. Ako, I just remember that the rate is palaging molarity per second. Tapos yung concentration palagi siyang molarity. Tapos from there, diniderive ko na lang yung mga units ng ng K. Mahirap kasi pag nag-memorize. Di ba? Pag may nakalimutan kang isa. O kaya namali yung natandaan mo, di ba? Yun yung disadvantage nun. Mas maganda kung nagso-solve ka from general, from logical things. Kasi di ba rate, so that's the change in concentration per second, so that's molarity per second. Ganun, di ba? Concentration is always molarity. So, di ba? Those are logical things not to remember. Mas madaling tandaan yun. Tapos, the unit, you can always determine it from here, from the rate law. Okay, so this is our equation. We'll try to integrate this and then derive the equation for second order. So, syempre, derivative na tayo. Marunong na kayong mag-calculus. So, negative dA. This is concentration of A. Tanggalin na natin yung pambahaba ng yung concentration na yun. Chem-ing naman tayo. A is the concentration of A. Negative dA dt, tapos K, A squared. Okay, so pagsamahin lang natin yung A, we'll have negative dA, A squared, tapos K dt. Tapos integrate natin. from 0 to time t. Tapos ito, integrate din natin from, yung concentration at time is equals to 0 is A sub O. Tapos yung concentration at T is A. Ganun, ano? This is A squared. Ano ang general equation for integration ng powers? A to the n dA is equals to A n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Diba? Tandaan niyo pa? Plus constant daw. Kaya lang ano tayo, definite integral, ano, may A sub O 8. Kaya mawawala yung K. Questions? So, ano ba to? A squared. So, negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So, pag in-integrate nyo to, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Tapos yung sa baba, A na lang yung matitira. Ano? So, ang integration nito ay 1 over A. Tama? Kasi negative 2 plus 1, negative 1. So, 1 over A na lang. Ano? Tapos, from A sub O to A. Ito yung limits niya. Ano? What about dito sa other side? So, sa other side, assuming na constant yung K, hindi siya nagbabago with time. So, anong magiging integral nito? Di ba KT na lang to, ano? So, pag tawag doon, dinistribute nyo yung A, this will simplify to 1 over A minus 1 over A sub O is equals to KT. So, ang general equation ng second order ay 1 over A sub O plus KT. You're familiar with this equation? Encounter niyo na dati? For second order reactions? Gen Chem, P-Chem? So, okay lang naman yan kahit pa ulit-ulit. Ang mahalaga, matandaan nyo. Ano? So, basically, ganun lang naman yan. Ano? So, pag halimbawa, given kayo ng initial concentration, tsaka rate constant, tsaka nung time, mapipredict niyo kung ano yung final concentration. Ano? Or some other types of problem. Question, clarification. Halimbawa, half-life. How do you solve half-life from this equation? So, pag half-life, at half-life, at half-life, diba, alam niyo na naman to, ano, ang consequence niyan, yung A is equals to 1/2 A sub O. Tama? So, substitute na lang dito yung 1 over 1/2 A sub O, tapos 1 over A sub O, tapos plus K, T, 1/2. So, pag ni-rearrange nyo to, you will have something like 2, di ba akit nyo lang sa taas yung 1/2, ano? So, magiging 2 over A sub O. Tapos ito i-transpose sa kabila itong 1 over A sub O minus 1 over A sub O is equals to K T 1/2. T 1/2. So, anong formula ng half-life pag second order? So, 2 minus 1 is 1 over A sub O, di ba? Tapos KT 1/2. So pag second order, ang half-life equation natin ay half-life is equals to 1 over K over A sub O. You're familiar with this half-life equation for second order? You're familiar? Okay. So kung hindi, okay lang yan. Basta, ano ba? Tandaan nyo lang. Parang, if I'm not mistaken, parang meron sa handbook. Paki-check nyo lang, meron isang chapter sa handbook ng kinetics. So, paki-browse nyo lang yung 9th edition handbook nyo or 8th edition handbook nyo. Probably itong mga equations na to ay nasa handbook. Ano? Exam natin, open handbook naman. So, kung ayaw nyo mag-memorize, you can always open the handbook. Walang problema. Okay? Tingnan natin the rest of the slide. So that's the equation. Ito yung dinerive natin, ano? Hindi yan. Do you have any question? So I'm going to clear para hindi mo gulo. Ito yung equation na dinerive natin. Ano? So, try to remember it. A is the concentration at any time t. A sub O is the concentration at time t is equals to 0. So half-life is when concentration of A is equals to the half of the original concentration. No? So, ayun. Ito yung isa natin dinerive. Half-life is equals to 1 over K divided by A sub O. Notice the difference with first order. Ang first order, ln 2 over K lang. Ano? We'll have the exam on next week, Thursday. Probably the long quiz. Ano? Mag-long quiz tayo sa Thursday para makapag-exam tayo before mag-Christmas break. Tapos, probably we'll have the prelims on after the Christmas break. Okay lang? Any reaction? Next week, Thursday, long quiz tayo. Tapos, after the Christmas break, probably second week after the Christmas break, mag-prelims tayo. Okay. Ito lang naman, itong madali lang naman to, di ba? Basic lang naman to. Gen Chem lang yun. Okay. Tapos pag second order, no? Pag second order, ang ipa-plot nyo, ito kasi yung equation natin, ano? Ito yung equation natin. So, pag second order, ang ipa-plot nyo, ang y nyo is 1 over a. Kamukha nung ginawa natin problem kayo sa first order, no? Ang y is 1 over concentration of a. Tapos, ito yung x, yung time. No? So, notice that itong 1 over a sub o, ito yung magiging y-intercept. Kamukha dito, ano? Yung magiging y-intercept. Yung 1 over a sub o. Tapos yung slope would be equal to the rate constant. Do you have any question regarding the second order derivation of equations and equation to remember? Okay, so hanggang sa matapos natin sa Tuesday. Probably sa Tuesday we'll tackle yung mga Arrhenius. No, itong PowerPoint na to. Kung gusto niyo mag-advance, advance na lang to. Sa Thursday we'll tackle the Arrhenius, tapos wala namang holiday ano. Tapos sa Thursday ang ganda yung language natin. Marami kayong exam next week. At least, pag may Christmas break, wala na kayong alalahanin. Prelims na lang. Kasi naman itong mga bagay-bagay naman na to, dapat stock knowledge yan. No? Itong mga dinidiscuss natin na to, stock knowledge yan dapat. Basic lang naman kasi yan. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's try this problem. Iodine atoms combine to form molecular iodine in the gas phase iodine gas, ano, plus iodine gas, it becomes I2. This is the iodine gas, ano. This reaction follows second order kinetic and has the high rate constant of 7 times 10 to the 9 per molarity per second at 23 degrees Celsius. So letter A, if the initial concentration of I was 0.086 molar, calculate the concentration after 2 minutes. So relatively madali lang naman tong letter A, ano. So, gamitin niyo lamang yung na-derive nating equation, di ba? 1 over A is equals to 1 over A sub O plus K times T. Substitute lang yung given. Di ba? Pinapahanap lamang yung final concentration. Itong A. No? Yung initial natin is 0.086 molar. Tapos, ang K natin, ito, 7 times 10 to the 9 molar. Medyo itong action time, pasensya na. Tapos times time, no? So, this is per molarity per molarity per second. Ganun. Times 2 minutes. Yung time, 2 minutes. Kailangan seconds to. Ano? Multiply niyo pa ulit na 60. 60 seconds per minute. Do you have any question regarding my solution? So, bakit multiply ng 60 para mag-cancel out yung seconds dito? Ano? So, ang mangyayari dyan, per molarity na rin to. Ano? Ito per molarity, itong term ito per molarity. So, i-shift solve nyo lang to find A. So, what's the value of A? At your calculator, kung kayo mag-shift solve, dapat marunong na kayo mag-shift solve, ha? Exponent 9 times 2 times 60. Shift solve. Yung sagot. Yep, very good. 1.19 or 1.20 or 1.2 times 10 to the minus 12. Very good, John Paulo. Very good, Gio. Very good, Jamila. Very good. This is approximately 1.19 ano, or 1.2 times 10 to the negative 12 molar. Okay, letter B. Calculate the half-life of the reaction if the initial concentration of I is 0.60 molar and if it is 0.42 molar. So, ang formula natin ng half-life is 1 over K, 1 over initial concentration of A. Ano? So, dito muna tayo sa 0.60. 1 over 7 times 10 to the 9. Okay? Per molar per second. Tapos, times 0.60 molar. Kakancel to. Ano? So, ang lalabas din na unit ay seconds. Ano? Kasi half-life. So, how many seconds ang half-life niya pag 0.60? Let's short out 1 divided by 7 exponent 9 times 0.6. Ano ba? Patega. Magkaiba. Unahin niyo siguro yung ano. Yung 0.6 tayo, no? Yung 0.6. Mas maganda yung unahin niyo yung 0.6. 0.6 times 7 exponent 9. 2.38 times 10 to the negative 10. Ano? 2.38 times 10 to the negative 10. Specs na kasi yung screen ng calculator. Yeah, very good. That's correct. Ano? That's very good, Gio. Very good, Mika. Very good, John. Very good, Carla. Very good, Nikki. Very good, Emmanuel. No, 2.38 times 10 to the negative 10. So, anong unit ito? Seconds. Question? Ganun kabilis lang. Ano, kasi hindi stable yung I. Toto, hindi siya stable. So, it always combine with another I to form your iodine gas. Lang naman na. Basta matandaan nyo lang naman yung equation, madaling lang. Tingnan natin kung tama yung sagot natin. First answer is 1.19 times 10 to the negative 12. The second one is 2.38 times 10 to the negative 10 seconds. Ano? So ito yung unang sagot. 1.19 is 1.2 no? Times 10 to the negative 12. Tama. And then the second one, yung half-life niya is 2.4 times 10 to the negative 10. 2.38 is just the same. Ano? Times 10 to the negative 10 seconds. Yung second, yung second question, yung 0.42 molar. So ganun din naman. So you're probably going to get this one. 3.4 times 10 to the negative 10 seconds. Do you have any question regarding our first sample problem? Kita niyo madali lang naman ano, as long as you can remember the equations. Madali din lang silang i-derive. Okay, very good, very good. So, punta tayo sa zero order. Pag zero order, yan. So, yung rate, constant lang. Kasi a to the 0 is equals to 1. So, yung rate is constant lang. So, pag dinerive natin yung equation ng zero order, di ba, negative dCA, iba naman, dt, hindi naman a. Para maging familiar kayo sa iba-iba, depende kasi sa book yan eh. Merong iba ginagamit nila CA. Si Pagler ata CA. Si Liebenspiel, I think si Liebenspiel yung A lang. Or X lang, A lang ata si Liebenspiel. Iba-iba kasi. Tapos si Chang, ayan, meron siyang bracket. Yung ganyan sa GenChem, may bracket. So, pwede ring CA, concentration of A. Para maging familiar lang kayo, You really need to adjust. Kasi kung minsan dito nalilito, pero pare-parehas lang naman yan. So, negative dCA dt is equals to K. Ibig sabihin, this is a zero order reaction, So mas simple yung nito, integration nito. Pag in-integrate nyo yung negative dCA from initial concentration to final concentration, tapos you have K dt. So, assuming na constant yung K with respect to time, so 0 to T. Ito siyempre lang to, ang integral ng negative dCA is simply negative CA. Diba? Yun lang naman yan. From CaO to Ca. Tapos ito, kabilang side, KT lang yan. Kapag dinistribute nyo, it would be negative Ca, Tapos minus CaO. Tama, ito yung, di ba kasi may minus doon, Tapos, kasi delta yan eh. Tapos may minus dito. So, ito magiging plus, tapos KT. Tama? So, we're going to simplify this equation to paano ang gandang form. Usually, I think puro positive, Puro positive. Pwede rin ganito, mas ganda rin yung ganito. CaO minus Ca is equals to KT. I think this is the standard form. As you can see, syempre, inaayos nila para magandang tingnan, yung equation. Actually, pwede rin naman kasi to, kaya lang pangit sa tingnan, di ba? May negative doon sa unahan. Nilalagay natin yung mga negative natin, medyo tinatago natin yan. Yan. Sa mga bagay-bagay, kailangan medyo artistic ka rin ng konti. CaO minus Ca is equals to KT. Concerns regarding the zero order equation? So what's the importance of this equation? Pag pinalat niyo yung data, time versus concentration, ito yung X, kasi diba, magiging yan, pag ito yung X nyo, ito yung X nyo, tapos ito yung Y nyo, Ca, tapos linear siya, diretso walang ln, walang 1 over a, walang ganun. Pag pinalat nyo yung time versus concentration, tapos linear siya, zero order yon. Ibig sabihin yung decomposition ng substrate ay constant. Di ba? You got what I mean? So parang negative Ca is equals to negative CaO plus KT. So, di ba linear to? Ito yung Y. Tapos ito yung y-intercept. Tapos ito yung slope. Ito yung x. Yung t. Tama? O kaya siguro mas maganda pag minultiply niyo ng negative. So pag minultiply niyo ng negative, magiging CaO minus KT. Ito pa pala yung isang pwedeng standard form ng equation. Ganda rin to. Sana hindi kayo nalilito. Inaano-ano ko lang naman. Ito, para maging ganito, i-multiply nyo lang ito ng -1. So, pwede rin pala to. Ito maganda rin to. Probably this is the standard form. This is much better than this. Okay, so ito yung y-intercept. Ito yung y. Ito yung x. Tapos yung makukuha yung slope equal siya sa negative k din. Ano? What about the half-life pag zero order? So pag half-life, ang CA is equals to 1/2 CAO. So 1/2 CAO, negative K, T-half. So pag minus siya to dito, magiging negative 1/2 Negative 1/2 CAO. Tapos negative K, T1/2. So magka-cancel yung negative na yan. So a half-life is the value. CAO divided by K. So again, it's still dependent pa rin siya sa initial concentration ng A. Kaya lang ito yung half-life pag zero order, directly proportional siya sa CAO. Unlike sa second order inversely proportional siya sa initial. Sa naman sa first order, independent siya sa initial amount. Okay? Kaya kita niyo yung mga problem, halimbawa yung sa strontium natin, tandaan niyo pa yung si strontium, yung radioactive substance. Meron siyang constant value, yung 6,730, 27.78 years, di ba? May constant value yung half-life ng mga radioactive kasi first order sila. Hindi sila dependent sa initial concentration. Pero pag zero order at saka second order, dependent sila. Tapos pag zero order, directly proportional yung half-life sa initial. Siyempre, bago siya maging kalahati, kung madami siya, mataas yung concentration, matagal. 'Di ba? Ganun yung constant rate pag zero order. Pag second order naman, inversely proportional. Pag mas mataas, mas mabilis. Pag mas mataas yung initial concentration, mas mabilis. You need to, may mga ganyang multiple choice question sa board exam. That's why you really need to get what I'm trying to say, You really need to understand. Anyway, mamaya mag-review naman tayo ng mga multiple choice questions. Do you have any questions regarding these equations? Okay. Anyway, mamaya naman sa summarize natin. Ang mahalaga lang dito is you understand the derivation. Questions? Okay. I'm going to clear this up. Sana nagno-notes kayo. Maganda kasi pag nagno-notes kayo, madaling reviewin yung notes nyo. Mas naiintindihan nyo. Kasi manghihiram kayo ng notes later. No? Unless talagang mabilis na mabilis magturo yung teacher na meron talagang may mga magagaling mag-notes. Oo nga, wala yung ito nga pala, sorry, may denominator. Thank you, May 2. Ito, yun, may 2 dito. Sorry. A1. No? Yun. Pag transpose niyo yung K, may 2 pa doon. Iwan ko. Thank you, Paolo. Okay? I'm going to mag-notes kayo, Nandun ako sa magsulat kayo sa notebook, kahit na online lang tayo. Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, mas madaling reviewin yung notes nyo. Mas madali yung matatandaan, mas madali yung marirecall. Kasi yung notes ng iba. Anyway, kung naiintindihan nyo naman, madali naman yung kahit alin. Okay, so let me clear this up. Tapos, yung sa PowerPoint. So, anong unit ng K pag zero order? Siyempre, ito, 1 lang naman yan, walang unit. So, molarity per second lang pag zero order ang unit ng K. Question? Tapos derivation ng ano, this is the, yan, ito nga pala yung form ng equation. Ano? A, concentration of A is equals to A sub O minus KT. A is the concentration at any time T. A sub O is the concentration at time T is equals to 0. Half-life. Half-life is when concentration of A is equals to half the concentration of the original concentration. And this is equals to, yun. May 2 ano, dito doon. Hindi ko lang na-transpose. E1. Concerns, questions? Okay. So pag ano, pag zero order, pag pinulat nyo yung concentration at saka yung time, linear sila, no? Yung y-intercept is the A sub O, right here, it's the y-intercept. Tapos yung k ay equal sa negative na slope, negative k. M is equal to negative k. B is equal to negative k. Question? Okay, so let's proceed. Let's try to solve some problem. Let's answer some question. Okay, concerning the rate law, rate is equals to k times concentration rate raised to 0. So this is a zero order. No? What are the appropriate units for the rate constant k? Letter A per second, letter B per meter per second, letter C per meter, meter minus 2, no, so meter, molarity, sorry, molarity minus 2, seconds minus 2. Letter D, molarity per second, letter E, molarity squared per second. Oh, Jo Marie, anong sagot? Dito ba si Jo Marie? Dito ka ba, Jo Marie? O nag-YouTube ka lang? Ba't kanina pa kita tinatanong, Jo Marie, hindi ka nasagot? Ayun, sumagot na rin siya sa wakas. Very good. Molarity per second. Okay. Any question regarding this? Ano? Ito. For what order reaction does the half-life get longer as the initial concentration increases? A, zero order, B, first order, C, second order, D, none of them because half-life is always independent of the initial concentration. So ano? Kailan ba siya ano? Parang directly proportional sa concentration. Oh, Mika. Kailan? Anong answer? Anong letter? Okay, very good. Okay, yan o, zero order. Ito rin naman. Diba directly proportional ano pag zero order. Pag zero order, yung half-life niya directly proportional sa initial concentration. Okay, for the chemical reaction A becoming B plus C, a plot of A versus time is found to give a straight line with negative slope. What is the order of the reaction with respect to A? Letter A, 0, B, first, C, second, D, third, E, such a plot cannot reveal the order of the reactions. Ano sagot dito? Angelica, what do you think is the answer? Angelica, yeah. A versus T, straight line with negative slope. What letter? It's probably the answer. What's the best answer? Angelica. Linear yung ano, concentration versus time plot. Siyempre, negative slope yan palagi kasi nababawasan yung, ano, di ba? Yung A kasi reactant yan. Angelica. Clarissa, Miss Clarissa Tolentino. Yung answer. Ito yung concentration niya. Yep, very good. Very good, Clarissa. Letter A. Yan na. Kasi di ba pag pinlock mo yung A dito, tapos yung time dito, tapos linear siya, di ba? So, ibig sabihin yan, the equation is A is equals to A minus KT. No? Yan yun. Di ba? So, yan. This is first order. Sorry, zero order. Ayan. How do you find this topic? Okay lang ba? O mahirap? Pag nahihirapan kayo, probably ano lang, kasi ngayon nyo lang siya nakita. It's supposed to be madali. So, the thing is, ulit-ulitin nyo lang tingnan, ano? Para lagi nyo siya nakikita, madadali nyo siya. Ganun lang naman yan. Mahirap lang kasi ano, probably ngayon nyo lang siya nakita. Kaya mahirap, no? Pero pag palagi nyo na siya nakikita, nagiging familiar na kayo, dadali na yan. Ganun lang yan. Okay, so let's summarize this. Zero order, first order, second order, no? So, zero order, ang rate law natin ay is equals to K, ano? Yung concentration time equation, ito, no? Concentration of A is equals to initial concentration minus K times T. Question? Ang half-life is initial concentration divided by 2 divided by K. K is the rate constant. So, you can see on the half-life equation right here, yung half-life niya directly proportional sa initial concentration. Pag mas mataas yung initial concentration niya, mas matagal yung half-life. Question? Pag first order, alam niyo na to ano, dapat master niya. Rate law is K times concentration of A. Ano ang concentration time equation? Cedric. Can you share much? A is equals to, what's the concentration time equation of ano, first order? Ano dito? Ang lalabas dito?
Sir, sa first order po.
First order. Ang lalabas dito? A is equals to
AO po tapos T raised to negative K times T.
Very good, very good. Very good, Cedric. Dapat, ano niya yan, memorize niyo ha. Huwag niyo kakalimutan yan. Sabi ko nga sa inyo sa word exam, 5 yan, first day. Oops, naka-LN siya. Ito pala yung line equation. That's just the same. No? So pag in-LN mo, you will have this. Okay? Ito yung, pero that's the same, that's the same. Yung sinabi ni Cedric. Ako, yun din yung memorize ko. Ito yung pang ano, pang halimbawa may data ka ng time versus concentration. Bale, concentration time equation. Pero that's also the concentration time equation, no? Yung A is equals to A sub O negative KT times E to the negative KT. Tapos, as you will see, yung memorize natin, no? Yung ln2 over K. Half-life is ln2 over K. So notice that, independent siya sa initial concentration. Ano? Walang A sub O sa equation. Pag first order, independent sa initial concentration ng A. Tapos, finally, we have the second order. Rate is equals to K times A squared. So, ito yung equation niya, ano? 1 over concentration of A is equals to 1 over A sub O plus KT. Okay, tapos yung kanyang half-life is 1 over K, 1 over A sub O. So, notice that pag second order, yung half-life ay inversely proportional sa initial concentration. So, pag mas mataas ang initial concentration, mas mabilis ang half-life. No? Mas maliit Mas lower yung value ng half-life pag mataas ang concentration. Inversely proportional. Okay, so what's this? So forward tayo sa ano, sa mga questions. Exercise muna tayo, ano, bago tayo mag-Arrhenius. Probably we'll take Arrhenius next meeting. Saka itong mechanism. Ay mga type of reactions. Pwede lang naman yun. Tuma tayo sa mga, ano, mga problems. Okay, so let's answer this one. For the reaction shown below, which one of the following statement can be rightly assumed? No? So 2H2S gas plus O2 gas gives you sulfur S, no? 2S solid plus 2H2O liquid. So these are the choices. The reaction is third order overall. Letter B, the reaction is second order overall. Letter C, the rate law is rate is equals to concentration of H2S squared times concentration of oxygen. Ano? Letter C. Letter D, the rate law is rate is equals to K times H2S, concentration of H2S times concentration of oxygen. And then letter E, the rate law cannot be determined from the information given. Okay? Isipan nyo. Oh, anong answer, Kristen? Miss Binson, anong answer? Are you around, Miss Binson? Naririnig mo ba? Yep. Okay. Palagay mo, anong sagot? Ang letter. B? Yeah. I'll give you another chance. Sa pa. Ano ba yung relationship ng stoichiometric coefficient sa order ng reaction? Meron ba? Generally, meron ba? Yan muna, Kristen. Meron bang, halimbawa, di ba, these are stoichiometric coefficient. Yung 2, tapos itong oxygen may 1. Meron ba yung relationship sa order ng reaction? Generally? Meron, wala? Wala. So kung wala, ano sa palagay mo yung best answer? Letter? Bakit anong kaibahan ng D sa letter C? Kasi ito, eksakto doon sa stoichiometric coefficient. Ito, hindi eksakto. So, halimbawa sabihin ko H2S cubed. A times H2S cubed. Diba, pwede rin yun. No? Kaya, halimbawa, diba, this letter D is actually the same as letter A. Anong difference ng A at saka D na answer mo? Dane, what do you think is the answer for this problem? Dane Collado. Di ba wala namang relationship yung stoichiometric coefficient sa order ng reaction. So what is the best answer? Yep, very good din. Ano? Letter E, ha? Hindi niya madedetermine yung order kung yung balance reaction lang yung given. So letter E, the rate law cannot be determined from the information given. I think ito yung... Okay? Kasi yung stoichiometric coefficient, no, generally is not related to the order of the reaction. Ganun yun, ano? Pag equal sila, then you have an elementary reaction. Pero hindi yun yung general case. So, pag ganito yung question, the best answer is letter E. Isa pa. The reaction A plus 2B, no, gives you products, has been found to have the rate law. Rate is equals to concentration of A times B concentration of B squared. While holding the concentration of A constant, the concentration of B is increased from X to 3X. Predict by what factor the rate of the reaction increases. A, 3, B, 6, C, 9, D, 27, E, 30. Yung sagot, Emmanuel, Mr. Pixon. Anong letter? Six. X to 3X. Anong mangyayari pag in-scored mo yung 3? So, di ba ito yung B? What will happen to the rate of the reaction? Take a look at this. X to 3X. Isa pa, Emmanuel, I'll give you another chance. Ito, 3. Palit mo doon. May squared siya. So, by what factor the rate of reaction increases? 6 pa? Ito yung sagot mo. Sige, isa pang chance. 3 squared. Yep, very good. C, 9, ano? Kasi pag multiply, pag in-squared mo yung 3, 9 times yung rate. Kasi ito, the same as x squared, ano? A remains the same. So 3 squared is 9 times. Do you have any question? Oh. Concerning the rate law, rate is equals to K times concentration of A times concentration of B. What are the appropriate units for the rate constant K? Lian, anong unit ng for this reaction? Anong letter? Hirap. Laging rate divided by yung dalawa. Lian, Justin. Anong letter? A, S minus 1, B, M minus 1, S minus 1. Number 12, Lian. C, M minus 2, S minus 1, D, M molarity per second, letter D, meters per second. Very good. Galing ni Lian. So ano? Nakuha ba ng lahat? So ang gagawin nyo lang, no? Gagawin nyo lamang is, actually, this is second order. No, this is second order. So kung memorize nyo, ito yon. No, kaya lang hirap mag-memorize eh. Tamad ako mag-memorize. So, I guess mas madali diyan yung itong rate, palaging ay unit niyan ay molarity per second. So, halimbawa, K yung kukunin niyo, no? Kamukha na si slide. Di ba rate, tapos concentration of A, concentration of B. Yung rate, molarity siya per second. Tapos yung A, molarity. Yung B, molarity. So, ang K, ang magiging unit niya, may makakancel kayong isa, di ba? May makakancel kayong isang M. So, yun. Kita niyo, 1 second M. Or M minus 1 S minus 1. Question? Yan, nagtatanong sa board ng ganyan. Yung nakaraang board, last October, may ganito. May ganitong questions. Concerning the rate law, rate is equals to A concentration of A raised to 0. What are the appropriate units for the rate constant K? Madali. Jamila, ang sagot. A, second minus 1, B, molarity minus 1, second minus 1, C, molarity minus 2, second minus 1, D, molarity per second, E, molarity squared per second. Anong answer, Jamila? Anong letter? Yep, very good, Jamila. Ito, This is quite easy. Kasi, ito, wala na to. 1 lang yan, di ba? So, kung ano yung unit ng rate, pag zero order, kung ano yung unit ng rate, yun din yung unit ng K. So, dapat tandaan nyo ha, dapat memorize nyo ng unit ng rate palaging molarity per second. So, ito lang yun. Paulit-ulit, Appropriate units per second order rate constant. Justin, Dublin, what's the answer? Appropriate unit per second order rate constant. Very good. B. No? Ito rin lang yun. Dapat memorize nyo yun. Mga numbers na. A reaction was experimentally determined to follow the rate law. Rate is equals to Ka squared, where K is equals to 0.456 per second per meter. Starting with A sub O is equals to 0.5 molar, how many seconds will it take for A is equals to 0.250 molar? Okay? So, exercise yun na to ha. Kindly get some paper, calculator and pencil and try to solve this one. Tapos pag may sagot na kayo, pasok nyo na lang sa BBL. Ay, paki-screenshot nyo na lang. Nalagay ko lang sa video. Pag may answer na kayo, input nyo lamang sa ano, sa BBL. May bin na doon. Ito rin, pakisolve. Para medyo challenging naman. At 25 degrees Celsius, the second order reaction, NOCl gas becomes nitrogen oxide gas plus 1/2 chlorine gas is 50% complete after 5.82 hours when the initial concentration of NOCl is 4.46 moles per liter. It's molarity. Ano? How long will it take for the reaction to be 75% complete? So this will be your second exercise for today. Tsaka reminder ha, paki-include, kahit na multiple choice to, paki-include ng solutions. Paki-picture yung solution tapos paki-forward. Pakisama sa ano? Pakisama sa exercise.
There, killjoy sila. Dun sa ano,
Okay, so just finish the second exercise and I'll see you again on Tuesday. No? Then we have our long quiz on Thursday next week. No? Okay, so babay na muna. See you on Tuesday.